Hi everybody, my name is Kim and welcome back to Bookmarks and Breadsticks. Welcome back. I am here to bring you another recommended reading list for Book Buffet 2021. If you haven't already heard, I am hosting a readathon with the ladies of Feasting Females, Amrita, Amy, and Rosie. I'll link the announcement video above. And I'm here to give you a list of fiction books with food. On our bingo card, there is a space for fiction, and it was originally meant for me because, as you know, or if you're new to my channel, I primarily read culinary nonfiction and food writing. Remember that food books are not cookbooks. Food books are things that cover special topics, microhistories, chef memoirs, and food world and travel. So the fiction square ended up being a joke for me. And then I ended up buying quite a few food books that have fiction, that are fiction, sorry. So I have a couple of piles. I believe there are 25 books here. If not, the correct number is there. So let's go ahead and get started. I have not read all of these books, but I'll start with what I have read. First up is Kitchen Sisters, and this is two rival chicken restaurants. Two sisters, think Food Wars / Restaurant Impossible, where both are down on their luck and need this money to win, and two sisters coming from very different walks of life. I thought this was really fun, and it's a nice, simple, beachy read, a really good summer read. And if you love chicken, I think you'll love this fried chicken story. Next up in my June wrap-up is the book Frying Plantains. This is about Cara, who is Canadian but has a background, a desire to be true Jamaican, and while she is not on a culinary journey herself, living with her mother, a single mother, and then always having a relationship with her grandmother, food is a big part of the tension surrounding this family. Another one is Delicious by Ruth Reichel. This is Ruth Reichel's first book into... The third book is Ruth Reichel's Delicious. This is Ruth Reichel's first foray into fiction writing. She is well known as the former editor of the Food and Wine magazine, and she is, well, I think her memoirs are fantastic. This book is really fun, and this is about Billy Breslin, who has traveled far from her home in California to take a job at Delicious, the New York's most iconic food magazine. I wonder where she got the inspiration for it. At first, Billy feels like a fish out of water, until she is welcomed by the magazine's colorful staff and seduced by the vibrant downtown food scene. Then an unexpected turn of events leads Billy to a miraculous discovery. In a hidden room in the magazine's library, she finds a cachet of letters written during World War II by Lulu Swan, a plucky 12-year-old girl, to the legendary chef James Beard. Lulu's letters provide Billy with a richer understanding of history and inspire Billy to come to terms with her fears and her ability to open up her heart to love. Next, one of my favorite books so far this year, With the Fire on High by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is a colorful, wonderful book written in prose, young adult, and follows Imani's journey to pursue her culinary passions while still having time to raise her daughter. She is a teenage mother, and there are lots of push and pulls that Imani faces in her school year. She has a natural gift for cooking, but with natural gift, there's also the dichotomy in the culinary world of rules, regulations, and health safety, and Imani has to come face to face with that. Next up is another young adult book, I Love You So Mochi. Next up is another young adult book, I Love You So Mochi by Sarah Kuhn. And this is all about Kimi-chan, who spends 2 weeks of her spring break in Japan reconnecting with her estranged grandparents. And of course, Mochi is at the center of it, along with a potential relationship with a boy in Japan named Akira. Another book that I read, but I actually read last year, is Sourdough, or Lois and Her Adventures in the Underground Market by Robin Sloan. He is also the author of Mr. Penumbra's 24-hour bookstore. And Lois is a software engineer. Think like she works for something similar to Google. And while this is the job of her dreams, she finds herself in possession of this sourdough starter from basically, she interacts with these two brothers who own a restaurant, but then they need to leave quickly because of visa issues, and at the last minute they leave her with their sourdough starter. And hilarious adventures come after. Final book on this list that I've read so far is Accidentally Engaged. This is a 2021 release, and it stars Arena, and it's a little bit of My Big Fat Greek Wedding, the next Food Network star, fake dating / fake engagement. It was a lot of fun, and it is a new release. Okay, on to the next pile. Next pile, if I don't knock it over, are books that came out in 2021 in the fiction space with food that I own but haven't read yet. First up is a faux love story by Lonely. This is a young adult, enemies to lovers, like rival faux shops, each with a child, not a child, but like a teenager, a young adult. One boy, one girl, Bao and Lynn. I have heard mixed reviews about it. I believe Haley from Haley and Bookland didn't love it as much, but I do have the book, and I know you can get it as an audiobook on Scribd, so I might add it to my TBR next month. Next up is The Rib King by Lady Hubbard. This is the story of a hot sauce or a barbecue sauce that brings fortune, and the recipe is stolen from the Black staff who work for the original Barclays. And to sell this meat sauce to local markets, Mr. Barclay creates this persona of the Rib King. But the more famous he gets, the more and more the Rib King starts to seem a little crazy. The Kitchen Front by Next up is The Kitchen Front by Jennifer Ryan. This is a historical fiction about 3 different women all trying to win the same radio cooking competition. Each has a different story, and we're 2 years into World War II. So from the best-selling offer, I'll read the inside description for you since this is a new release. 2 years into World War II, Britain is feeling her losses. The Nazis have won battles, the Blitz has destroyed cities, and U-boats have cut off the supply of food. In an effort to help housewives with food rationing, a BBC radio program called The Kitchen Front is holding a cooking contest, and the grand prize is a job as the program's first ever female co-host. For 4 very different women, winning the competition would present a crucial chance to change their lives. For a young widow, it's a chance to pay off her husband's debts and keep a roof over her children's heads. For a kitchen maid, it's a chance to leave servitude and find freedom. For a lady of the manor, it's a chance to escape her wealthy husband's increasingly hostile behavior. And for a trained chef, it's a chance to challenge the men at the top of her profession. These 4 women are given the competition their all, even if that sometimes means bending the rules. But with so much at stake, will the contest that aims to bring a community together only serve to tear them apart? I'm very excited. 2 more that came out this year. Rosaline Parker Takes the Cake by Alexis Hall. Alexis Hall is the author of Boyfriend Material, and if you are in love with the Great British Baking Show, this is the book for you. Rosaline Palmer had a daughter very early in her life and now is trying to figure out what she wants to do with her life and has set off to be on a cooking show. And I'm sure there is a romance involved because I did find this in the romance section of Barnes & Nobles. His name is Harry, guaranteed for disaster. We'll see. And the final 2021 release is Hana Khan Carries On. A young woman juggles pursuing her dream job in radio while helping her family compete with the new halal restaurant across the street in this sparkling new rom-com by the author of Aisha at Last. I'm very, very excited to read this one. There's so many I want to read. Last list I covered will also cover the bingo square of a book published in 2021. Now let's go look at some fiction books involving food that cover the bingo square for 2020. If you're looking for a work of short stories, I recommend 13 Tales of Food and Love. The compilation is called Hungry Hearts. I've been dying to get my hands on this, and I was able to find it for about $2.99. I'll read the inside for you. A shy teenager attempts to express how she really feels through the confections she makes at her family's pastelaria. A tourist from Montenegro desperately seeks a magic soup dumpling that could cure his fear of death. An aspiring chef realizes that butter and soul are the key ingredients to win a cooking competition that could grant him the money to save his mother's life. Welcome to Hungry Hearts Row, where the answers of Welcome to Hungry Hearts Row, where the answers of most of life's hard questions are kneaded, rolled, baked. Where a typical greeting is, "Have you had anything to eat?" Where magic and food and love are sometimes one and the same. Told in interconnected short stories, Hungry Hearts explores the many meanings food can take beyond mere nourishment. It can symbolize love and despair, family and culture, belonging and home. All right, the next couple are going to be rapid fire because I believe they are titles that people know about. For example, The Little French Bistro is written by Nina George, who is the writer of The Little Paris Bookshop. If you are looking for a food murder mystery, Joanne Fluke has a whole series of books with the same detective in the same universe, but all involve food. This one is The Cream Puff Murder. I'm not actually going to be reading this. This is a book I picked up specifically to put in the little free library outside. The Coincidence of Coconut Cake by Amy Reichel. Tweet Cute by Emma Lord. Simmer Down by Sarah Smith. Midnight at the Blackbird Cafe by Heather Weber. Natalie Tan's Book of Luck and Fortune by Rosaline Kim. I like the shiny cover. The Chef by Marie Ndiaye. This is also a translated work. There is a bingo square for translated work, so I'm definitely going to keep this book aside because it's going to help me hit two birds with one stone. The Year of Meats by Ruth Ozeki. Recipe for a Perfect Wife. This is also another murder mystery. The Recipe Club by Andrea Israel and Nancy Garfinkel. And finally, to clear out this long list, Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. Jenna Evans Welch has a whole universe of love plus love and luck, love and gelato, and her most recent book is Love and Olives. So quite a few of, so definitely in the young adult realm. So there are definitely quite a few books I've put on this list that are considered young adult, but I also am happy that there are some that are considered adult fiction, a couple that are considered adult romances. I will break them out down below in the notes. I know I went through a lot of books, but don't worry. I actually have a list on bookshop.org, which I'll link in the description below, with all of these recommended reads for Book Buffet 2021. Don't forget that the readathon is the whole month of August, so you can pick and choose and read as you want. If any of these books interest you and you want a buddy read, just hit me up in the comments below and make sure you hit like and subscribe if you haven't already. You can also follow all of us from the Book Buffet on our Instagram account, Book Buffet FF, for Feasting Females. And that's where we'll be posting a lot more recommended reads and what we're reading. And you can also check me out on Instagram at Bookmarks and Breadsticks so you can see what I'm reading up to date. And that's everything. Again, the correct number of books I mentioned will be here. Hopefully something here interests you. And don't forget, you can double up on squares within the bingo card. I mean, why not? There's a lot in here, and I hope you find something to read, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.